Hi, it's Daniel.
And Jenny.
And we're at Disneyland on a rainy day, and we're gonna try and show you how to make the most of your rainy day in the park.
A rainy day at Disneyland can be the best day at Disneyland as long as you're prepared and you know what to expect.
Our biggest advice for coming prepared is to bring what we think are our two most essential items. That is a good waterproof jacket and a good pair of waterproof shoes or boots.
It doesn't matter if you are wearing an actual rain jacket or just something that's water resistant. It's going to make a big difference during your day, and so will having waterproof shoes. We see so many people all the time wearing just regular tennis shoes on a rainy day, and your feet are going to be soaked within minutes because there are a lot of puddles here at Disneyland. It's an old park and the drainage just isn't great in every spot.
I can't tell you how many times I've stepped off of a curb and there's been a big puddle there when it's been raining here, but as long as you're wearing the right shoes, it doesn't matter.
Of course, it's always a good idea to bring an umbrella, but it is not necessary as long as you've got those shoes protecting your feet and some sort of jacket to keep the rest of your body dry.
A lot of people are afraid to visit Disneyland when it rains, and that means that the line to get in is usually really short. This is what it looked like at about 8:30 when we came in today. Usually it is packed, but today we walked right in without having to wait at the turnstiles.
Do keep in mind that as long as it's raining, most of the lines for the attractions are going to be shorter than usual, but you may see people coming back into the parks once that rain stops.
There are a handful of attractions that do tend to close when it rains, and we'll put that up here on the screen for you and cover up one of our faces. But as you can see, it's not a very large list here at Disneyland Park, and there's a few at California Adventure as well. But we actually noticed that sometimes they don't even close them right away. It takes a good amount of rain for those to actually close. But if any of those things are on your must-do list, just be aware that you're not going to be able to do them while it's raining.
Another thing to note is that if there is lightning in the area, that will shut down most of the rides as a safety precaution, but they will be up and running again as soon as it is safe to do so.
While today is a rainy day, it actually seems to have stopped for now. So most of the stuff seems to be running. The Main Street vehicles are going right now. Characters were out, but they just took a little break and should be back out shortly. But because it's not raining, everything should be kind of normal right now. But the crowds, as we said, are very light. So let's go ahead and show you some of what that looks like. As you can see, Main Street is not crowded at all right now. There's tons of room to walk around. And this is within an hour of park opening. It's only about 8:45 in the morning right now on a weekend. So it's really nice. So here we go walking down Main Street. As you can see, it's not really all that crowded. We're making our way towards Fantasyland. We're gonna look at some of the rides that might be open right now, but that typically close during the rain. We'll show you what that looks like and just show you how short the line times are because the rain just scares everybody off from visiting. So it may get crowded a little bit later, but the line time should stay short for a while here right now.
Typically on a rainy day, you are not going to find a lot of local pass holders visiting the parks. Here in Southern California, we're very spoiled and we don't like to be out in the rain. It's very different from Disney World in Orlando where it rains a lot. So on a rainy day, you're gonna have a very different level of crowds here at Disneyland.
And here you can see the ground is all wet, but the Main Street vehicles are still running. The red car is coming up here as we're passing by the horse carriage.
Up here at Sleeping Beauty Castle, this is prime photo time for a lot of families, but there's almost nobody here taking photos. So again, if you are coming on a rainy day, you're going to be able to get some of those great photo opportunities like a shot of the castle with nobody in the background.
Look at how just uncrowded this area is. It usually gets so busy and packed here, but it was so easy to walk through the castle. There was hardly anybody here to fight through to get through. Not that many people taking pictures. This is wonderful to be able to do that. And here, check out the Peter Pan queue. It's not even going through all of the switchbacks over here. The line says it's only 30 minutes. Usually this fills up and gets to be closer to an hour first thing in the mornings. This is wonderful. The queue for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is essentially a walk-on. There is no line outside. You just walk straight into the room and you'll be on it within a minute or two. This is lighter than rope drop crowds right now. And here's the wait for Dumbo. It says 10 minutes. There's literally no switchbacks. You just walk right up to it and get assigned to your Dumbo number.
So as you can see behind us, We are in front of the Mad Tea Party, and it's not actively raining, so they are trying to dry it up as fast as they can. The cast member said that as soon as they have it dry enough, that the ride will be up and running again. So if you're here on a rainy day and there's a ride you really want to ride, but it's closed due to rain, just have some patience, and as long as it dries up enough, it'll reopen.
If you want to see what a rainy day looks like at California Adventure Park, go ahead and click on that link up in the corner up there, right there. And we spent a day in the rain trying to go on as much stuff as we could before noon. So check that out. We share our tips and tricks for California Adventure in that video. Good morning.
Good morning. Stay dry out there. I've mentioned this before in other videos, but if you are looking for roaming characters in Fantasyland, this walkway between It's a Small World and Matterhorn and the rest of Fantasyland is a great place to look. As long as it's dry enough and not actively raining, you can find all sorts of Fantasyland characters like Geppetto and Pinocchio, Merida, Aladdin, the Genie, and lots more here all the time. So we have sort of two categories of rides that we think of when we're thinking about what rides are good to check out during the rain. There are some rides that have some very long indoor queues and the ride itself is indoors. And then there are some attractions that are long attractions that are indoors but still do have a little bit of the queue outdoors in the rain.
It's a Small World is one of those great ones that's a nice indoor attraction but has the queue mostly outside.
The Disneyland Railroad is another great attraction where there's a little bit of the queue that can be outside depending on the station, but the attraction itself is completely covered and you can sit on the train and enjoy a relaxing ride for as long as you want, really. A full round trip of the park takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes depending on the lines and the crowds, but you are welcome to ride the railroad as long as you want.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a great attraction for the rain. The queue is pretty much entirely indoors unless it's a really busy day, but as we mentioned, rainy days aren't like that. So you got a nice long wait indoors, and the attraction time is quite long as well. So good way to spend a good amount of time out of the rain on rainy days. Also here in Toontown, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin has a very long indoor queue. The ride itself is only a couple minutes long, but when there's a longer wait for it, it's great to get some time walking through the queue, exploring all the little intricate details, and just enjoying that time out of the rain.
Here in Toontown, you can also meet Mickey at his house. This is a long indoor queue and it is very interactive. There's a lot for kids to see and touch and look at. There's a lot of cool Easter eggs if you're a Disney fan as well. At the end of the line, there is a room with the new Mickey shorts that kids can watch while they're waiting, and then you will be able to meet Mickey Mouse here. This is the only guaranteed place that you can find Mickey if it's actively raining. Otherwise, he won't be at any of his outdoor meet and greet spots. There is also a guaranteed PhotoPass photographer here, so you can get some great family photos from your vacation here with Mickey. Another attraction where the line isn't necessarily out of the rain, but the attraction itself will keep you dry, is the monorail. You can ride the monorail as many times as you'd like, but they will make you disembark at Tomorrowland Station, and you can just get right back in line and get on it again. Riding on the monorail itself for a full loop will take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes.
It has started raining, and as you can see here, the teacups have completely shut down because of the rain. You can see that they have closed the line. They have no cast members working here. So again, this is one of the rides that closes during the rain. Over here at Alice in Wonderland, they are currently working on closing the ride down, so they're getting everybody off. But this is another one of the attractions that closes in the rain. So the queue has been closed, they're clearing it out, they're cycling everything through just to get the last guests off of the ride. The Storybook Land boats are another attraction that closes during the rain. So you can see that they have already closed down the queue and there are no boats running at all. They've taken everything backstage and hopefully they'll reopen it once the rain stops.
When it's raining and you are ready to eat your lunch or dinner or just a snack, there are a few restaurants that we do recommend checking out to stay dry. The Red Rose Tavern here in Fantasyland does have plenty of indoor seating. Keep in mind there is a lot of outdoor seating as well, but these are not fully covered. They have some umbrellas, but those are not going to protect you from the real rain, and they can get pretty wet on the seats and tables. It's also one of the few restaurants at the Disneyland Resort that offers a full breakfast menu.
Galaxy's Edge has a couple of great attractions with long indoor queues, and the attractions themselves are indoors. So you have here the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride. The wait times won't be super long, but it's got a lot of indoor queue space to walk through and eats up a lot of time so you can wait out the rain. And also in Galaxy's Edge, Rise of the Resistance is another great attraction with a very long indoor queue, and the ride experience itself lasts about 20 minutes once you get to the front of that queue. So this is another great place to spend time out of the rain.
If you're looking for a place to eat that is dry and out of the rain, the Hungry Bear restaurant is another good option. This is just outside of Galaxy's Edge in Critter Country. There is some covered seating here on the bottom floor next to the restrooms. There is some covered seating on the top floor next to where you order, but a lot of the top floor area has just some canvas that isn't going to keep you dry if it's actually raining. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a dry place to sit and eat.
When it's wet or has been raining, Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes are another attraction that closed down. The rafts to Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island and Tom Sawyer Island itself are also closed when it's raining or wet out. Pirates of the Caribbean is another great ride to go on when it's raining. Some of the queue is outdoors, but the ride itself is a great break from the rain. Another indicator of light crowds when it's raining, this part of the queue for Pirates is not currently being used. Normally on busier days, this is used and is quite busy for the Pirates ride.
Here in Adventureland, just next to the Bengal Barbecue restaurant, there is a good amount of indoor covered seating. This area can get very busy though, so if you are hoping to snag a spot here, you may have to wait around, but this is still a good place to stay dry and take a little break from the wet.
Also in this area by Bengal Barbecue, you'll find various snacks, including chips, drinks, fresh fruit, and pickles.
A classic attraction here in Adventureland where you can escape the rain is Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. This is really a show and not an attraction. There is an outdoor pre-show which does have some covered space, but the show itself is completely indoors, lasts anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Another great spot to escape the rain can be some of the larger stores here at Disneyland. This includes Pioneer Mercantile here in Frontierland and the main shops on Main Street USA like the Emporium and Clothier's.
One of the absolute best places to escape the rain is the Golden Horseshoe right behind me. This is a quick service restaurant in Frontierland with 2 levels of covered seating and a piano show that plays throughout the day. So it's a great spot to escape from the rain. We do have a video of us touring the Golden Horseshoe and showing you a little bit of the piano show. Go ahead and click on the link in the corner above to see that.
The Plaza Inn here on Main Street USA is another quick service restaurant that offers indoor and covered seating. It's only available as a quick service restaurant after 12 o'clock noon every day. In the mornings, it offers a character buffet breakfast, and we actually have a review of that if you'd like to check that out. Click on the link up in the corner.
Galactic Grill, which is a quick service restaurant in Tomorrowland, offers some good seating to get out of the rain. As you can see, there's a nice big awning, so the seats under there are the prime seats, but there's also tons of umbrella seating throughout the perimeter of the restaurant, and that's a good place to eat as well if you don't want to get too wet. In addition to lunch, they offer breakfast here as well.
One of the best places to find some indoor seating if you are looking to eat is the Alien Pizza Planet. This is a quick service restaurant here in Tomorrowland, and it offers 2 different areas with indoor seating. There's some outdoor seating as well, but overall, this has one of the largest indoor seating areas here at Disneyland.
One thing to note is that sometimes you will find tables underneath umbrellas, but that doesn't mean that they're dry. You can see these tables are all pretty wet, so you can maybe get some napkins to clean it off or find somewhere a little bit better to sit. A few other things to note about rainy days at Disneyland. A lot of the outdoor entertainment will get canceled when it's raining. So those are things like the Disneyland Band, the Dapper Dans, the Straw Hatters, and the Pearly Band that perform mostly on Main Street and in Fantasyland.
If it's dry enough out, they will come out and perform, but if it is actively raining or sprinkling, none of the bands that have instruments will be performing outside.
In addition, any other outside scheduled entertainment activities such as parades will typically get canceled during the rain. The only show that really continues performing when it's raining is the storytelling at the Royal Theater in Fantasyland near the castle.
If there are any shows that are performing in the Fantasyland Theater at the back of Fantasyland next to Toontown, those will be running as well. At the moment, there is no show running there, but there may be something in the future. The character meet and greets around Disneyland are also affected by the rain. Up at the front of Main Street, you can usually find Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Donald, Goofy, Pluto, and
Chip and Dale.
and Chip and Dale. But if it is actively raining or if it's too wet outside, they will not be coming outside. However, you can sometimes find them in surprising spots. There are some awnings on Main Street where they could be hiding out. Outside of the exit of the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln Theater, you can find some characters hiding out there, waiting out the rain, and doing some fun little meet and greets as well.
For example, we even found Woody over here in the corner by the Fantasyland Theater next to the Toontown Depot Railroad Station. And here in Critter Country, Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore are meeting under the awning for the store rather than in their normal meet and greet spot.
The guaranteed places to find characters at Disneyland, even in the rain, are going to be Toontown. You can find Mickey in his house at all times. Sometimes you'll be able to see Minnie Mouse in her house right next to Mickey's as well. And in Fantasyland, next to the castle at the Royal Hall, the princess meet and greets are there throughout the day. Those do not stop even if it's raining.
Let us know what your favorite tip or trick for visiting in the rain is in the comments down below. And if we missed anything that you think is really important, let us know there as well.
We hope that you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps us out.
Don't forget to subscribe for even more magical moments at the Disneyland Resort.
And we hope we put you in a magical mood.